Last week we started our conversation on this awesome range from Xerjoff, and it's the XJ 1861. That's what the collection is called. And essentially it's Xerjoff's love song to his home country, Italy. Naxos is a tribute to Sicily. And look, I haven't spoken to Sergio, who is the owner of Xerjoff, but I'm gonna say that I'm right in saying that Sergio wants you to start in this collection here with Naxos. And that's on two reasons. One, it's a fragrance which is, it's instant love. And I talked about this last week. As soon as you spray it, it brings you into the fragrance. You fall in love. And so that will then create intrigue to go, what are the other two like within this range or in this collection? And the second part, from a, I guess, historical point of view, Sicily was owned by a million different civilizations. And so yeah, historically, Sicily was the gateway into the rest of Italy. Sergio, if you're watching, let me know if I'm right. So if you like all things niche perfumery, then I invite you to subscribe to the Niche Fragrance Collector. It's all about niche perfumes from around the world, but more than just, and this is the part that, well, it's more than just sniff, sniff, smell. It's about discovering the backstories of some of these fragrances. Yes, it is about the perfume, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're buying it for the perfume. But where do these perfumes come from? What's the story behind them? This is an expression of art right here. And I like to explore that, and I like to explore that a little bit deeper. And I encourage your comments. If you've got some insight regarding some of the things we're talking about, let me know. Now, back to this guy. If Naxos is about a tribute to Sicily, and Zafiro is actually, in fact, and we'll talk about that next week, a tribute to Rome, so is Renaissance a tribute to Florence? I'm going to say no. Again, Sergio, if you're watching, stop me at any time and tell me if I'm off the mark. Renaissance of what? So if you think of the Renaissance, and actually the Renaissance that happened in the Florence area, essentially it's a renewed interest in something. In this case here, I'm going to say it's a renewed interest in Italian perfumery. That's what Sergio is trying to tell us about. So there's a style of fragrance, or a style of a perfume type called cologne. And recently, Creed launched their Viking cologne. Now, colognes are defined as being very citrusy on the opening, a bit of a herby sort of green heart. They're designed to be happy. They're very sort of joyful in their composition when it comes to the fragrance and the smell. But a lot of it is attributed to, this is, why is it called a cologne? Because the guy who invented it was from Cologne in Germany, and so they branded it as a cologne. I think that was in 1709, something like that. But did this German gentleman actually create the cologne? I think Sergio from Xerjoff is saying no. It actually was created in Italy. So in 1533, the friars in Santa Maria Novella, and this is that particular fragrance. They developed a fragrance for Caterina de' Medici. She was going off to marry a French royalty, and she asked these friars from Santa Maria Novella to design a fragrance that will remind her of Italy. And now this fragrance here is citrus burst. It's a citrus joy. So I think what Sergio is trying to say when he says a renaissance is, in fact, as I said, a renaissance in Italian perfumery. This fragrance, look, it makes me sad when I hear negative reviews on this fragrance, honestly. So out of the three, I actually experienced this one first, Renaissance, and fell in love. And I've mentioned this before, I love citrus openings. I love fragrances with a wonderful hook that gets you in. But this fragrance plays all the way through. Here's the thing though. I've seen some people who have sampled this fragrance and they put it on card. On card, it stays. So some people say there's a citrus burst. This is a citrus explosion. So on card, it stays whereas on skin, it begins to have all those different layers that Xerjoff is actually known for. So, on opening, it starts off with that explosion of lemon, bergamot, mandarin, and a petitgrain. Now that petitgrain actually gives it a green element to this. It gives it again, that herb sort of, that green sort of a twinge to its sharpness. Then as it begins to dry down, it goes into the flowers, which is lily of the valley, rose, and a mint. And I'm gonna say also, the mint is now playing with the top notes of this particular fragrance. I find that as the fragrance dries down, I'm picking up those flowers. On the opening, it's an explosion. So all you're really getting is citrus, and a little bit more citrus. And give it 2 hours and you'll begin to feel the other components of the actual fragrance itself. Then finally, in the dry down or in the base, you're looking at things like patchouli, musk, I know there's cedarwood in there, and amber. That was the last one, in amber. I genuinely, absolutely love this fragrance. For me, this fragrance is spectacular. Where this one here is very versatile, you can use it in, this is Naxos, so you can use it in cold weather, warm weather. For me, I find that Renaissance is designed as a summer fragrance. It's a burst of confidence. I have used this particular fragrance. I've gone to a couple of sort of more difficult meetings, and I've purposely worn Renaissance for the mere fact that I just need, I don't want to own the room. You know, there are some fragrances like Green Irish Tweed is a classic for, you know, you really want to, you know, state your place in that particular meeting. Whereas for me, I find that Renaissance, and this is how I've used it, I want to just remain confident. I just want to have that inner buzz within me without being too forceful upon someone else. So that citrus is, it just keeps you happy. It just keeps you, that sense of confidence is definitely there. Now, how much do I love this fragrance? 100%. I adore this fragrance. I think it's spectacular. My wife doesn't like the opening too much. She finds that the opening, again, you have to love citrus. It's not a burst, it's an explosion. And she finds that the citrus at the start is a little bit too strong for her. So I'm gonna put her down at a 50%. However, whenever I've worn this fragrance externally around, people do comment. They actually feel they just like, there's a sense of joy, you know, on the dry down, etc. So I'm getting a lot of positive responses when I actually wear this fragrance. Its longevity is awesome. It actually will last me easily 8 to 9 hours without a problem at all. And its sillage is spectacular. It has very strong sillage. So there you have it. Renaissance by Xerjoff, the love song that Sergio Momo has created for his home country. If you're interested in this particular fragrance, there are 2 awesome retailers here in Australia that carry it. One is OLIGARCH, the other one is LIBERTINE Parfumerie. Both are sponsoring Niche Fragrance Collector. You can get 10% off. The code is right there. If you are new to this conversation with us, I'd love you to subscribe. I'd love you to join the Niche Fragrance Collector family. Make sure you hit that bell button because we have one more that we want to talk about, which is Zafiro. And I feel that Zafiro is the black sheep of this little family here. Thank you, everyone.